Good morning, students. Welcome to today's English class, and today is 16th July, and after a gap of almost 10 days, almost a gap of 10 days, we have again come to discuss about your syllabus and other related things of your second semester, right? And another thing is, what were we discussing in the previous classes? I hardly remember all those things because I lost touch. But one thing I am sure, that I have completed a lesson. And also a poem, I think, right? A treatise on good manners. I did not begin this, but I think I completed this Ode on Solitude. Okay, girls, and today, for your general understanding, let us try to have a look at all these things. I mean to say, grammar part once again. Of course, you might get a feeling that whether this is part of your syllabus or not. Of course, it is not part of your syllabus, I know that. But this is grammar. And grammar is always useful in improvising your language usage. Okay, and today let us have a general look at a topic called kinds of sentences. Okay, before discussing these kinds of sentences, let me also give you an idea. Definition of sentence. Definition of sentence. That's what I wrote here for your kind understanding. Check this one. Definition of sentence. Definition of sentence. What is that? I hope you know this. A group of words which makes sense. Group of words which makes sense is called a sentence. Group of words which make sense is called a sentence. And what is that, girls, which makes sense? Group of words which make sense is nothing but group of words which gives you meaning about something. Group of words which gives you a proper understanding about any situation, about any information, about any event, okay, about any cause. All these things together makes a group of words which makes sense is called a sentence. Okay, and another one. Now let's go to this topic, kinds of sentences. How many kinds of sentences, girls? Have you any idea? How many kinds of sentences are there? There are 4. Okay, let us not go for numerics, let's go for spelling. 4 kinds of sentences. There are 4 kinds of sentences. What are they? How do they play an important role in different ways? And that particular thing is available in the textbook itself. And before that, I would like to give you an idea about the page number, that is, what is that? page number 121 in your textbook, page number 121, and it begins from the middle of that page number 121 I mean. And check this one, kinds of sentences. Check this one here. Number 1, sentence number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. 4 sentences. What are they? Yeah. Assertive, or if not, I mean to say declarative sentence. Assertive or declarative sentence. Okay. And check this one, another one. Interrogative sentence. Third one, imperative sentence. And fourth one, exclamatory sentence. Okay. So check this one now. Assertive or declarative sentence. Sentence number 1. Sentence number 2, interrogative sentence. Sentence number 3, imperative sentence. Last but not the least, that is exclamatory sentence. Now if you just go back to your textbook page, we also have an opportunity to go through the definitions of all these sentences. What they are. Now check this one. Here, if you take a look at this assertive sentence or declarative sentence, the definition given to this assertive or declarative sentence is like this. Assertive sentences are used to make statements in order to give information, report events, express an opinion, or make a promise. Got an idea now? I repeat, assertive sentences are used to make statements. What are those statements? For example, sun rises in the east. A general example I am giving you. And here, sun rises in the east is nothing but, this is a universal truth. Sun sets in the west, another universal truth. Earth is round, the earth is round, another universal truth. Okay, earth revolves round the sun, another universal truth. And your statements, check this one. Kunal was looking at us. Okay, and check this one. After this, to make statements in order to give information. Why these statements are made here? In order to give informations. That means to give details about a particular thing. Information is about the details of any particular thing. Okay, another thing, report events. Report events. Okay, India won the World Cup, for example. India won, WON won the World Cup 2011. Okay, Team India players are world champs. Team India is world champs in cricket, for example. This is another kind of statements. Okay, express an opinion or make a promise. Express an opinion or make a promise. Now, what is this express an opinion? Express an opinion. Right? For example, English language is a global language. And it is very useful in improvising one's communication skills. Okay? And with the help of English language, what we can do is we can achieve many things. So all these are nothing but you are expressing your opinions. Communication skills are very, very important. They have become crucial for obtaining job. This is my opinion. And sometimes, and make a promise. Make a promise. What is this make a promise? Right? Just think and understand. Make a promise. I shall bring the textbook tomorrow. It's a promise. For example, I shall bring the textbook tomorrow. It's a promise. Okay. And another one. They have the word order subject verb plus object, and every sentence you write under this category called declarative sentence or assertive sentence, they have a subject, verb and object pattern. And check this one. What is that? Kunal was looking at us. Another one. The children played football. What did the children do? As an answer you are making a statement. The children played football. What was Kunal doing? Kunal was looking at us. All these are statements. Okay. And another thing else. Check this one. Assertive sentences that make a positive statement, such as the examples above, are affirmative. Now above sentences, just a while ago I gave you two examples. What were they? Kunal was looking at us. The children played football. These are affirmative. Now check this one. Those that make a negative statement are negative sentences, for example. Now affirmative is something very, very sure. Kunal was looking at us. The boys played football. Okay, the children played football. Whatever you call it, those are affirmative. That means the things that have happened, have been stated by you. That's why they are declarative or assertive sentences. And here, check this one. Those that make a negative statement are negative sentences, for example. Those that make a negative statement are negative sentences. And the examples given here are: Kunal was not looking at us. Kunal was not looking at us. Because of the presence of N-word not. Because of the presence of N-word not, right? What happens is, this becomes a negative statement. Whereas in the previous statements, that was in assertive sentences, Kunal was looking at us. That was a positive statement, assertive statement. But here Kunal was not looking at us. Because of the presence of and because of the insertion of N-word not in the sentence, it has become a negative statement, negative sentence as well. And here, the cows have not returned to the shed. Another statement. The cows have not returned to the shed. The cows which have been taken for grazing, the cows which have been taken into the nearby jungle for grazing, as usually, they did not return today. And about that thing, someone is making a statement, negative sentence. What is that? The cows have not returned to the shed. Okay? Next thing. Now here it is also clearly given. Note that negative sentences are formed by inserting not between the auxiliary or helping verb was and have in the examples above. Okay, Kunal was not looking at us. This is was is the auxiliary verb, that means the helping verb. And another verb, helping verb, and check this one, was and have in the example above. And the main verb. Okay, next thing. In sentences that have only a main verb, the auxiliary verb do is used in its appropriate tense form and in agreement with the person and number of the subject. And this is followed by not and the base form of the main verb. The plane took off. The plane did not take off from this runway. So how do you understand? A sentence has a subject, a verb, and an object. And sometimes it also includes that auxiliary verb. It also has that base verb. All these things together make a sentence. Okay, right. Vijaya drives well. Vijaya does not drive well. Now check this one. Now I'm rubbing these things just to make it more clear. Now Vijaya, it is given like that. Vijaya drives well. Now check the same, another one. Vijaya does not drive well. Now check this one, this is assertive sentence. And here negative sentence. Check these things. Vijaya drives well. This is a statement. Assertive. But here Vijaya does not drive well. This is a negative statement because we have inserted, we have included that N word in not, which is the negative, which gives an opposite information. Here this is positive. Vijaya drives well. Vijaya does not drive well. This is a negative statement. Okay. Now already I gave you another thing just a while ago. What was that? The sun rises in the east. The same thing, the sun sets in, sorry, there is no need of the here. The sun rises in east. The sun sets in west. The sun rises in east. The sun sets in west. What is this? Now these are universal truth. Universal truths. Now check this. For example, we have another thing. What is that? The earth is round. Another universal truth. Another one. The earth revolves round the sun. The earth revolves round the sun. Another universal truth. We all know these things. We all know these things. Things which are inevitable, things which happen routinely, things which automatically happen. These are called universal truths. The sun rises in the east. Every day we get heat and light from the sun. As usually, without any change, without any late, the sun always rises in the east. And next, the sun sets in west. The earth is round. The earth revolves around the sun. The earth revolves round the sun. Check this one. All these are universal truths. So universal truths are also part of this. What is that? Declarative sentence or assertive sentence. Okay. Another one. I am rubbing these things, girls. Interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. What is that interrogative sentence, girls? And here if you take a look at the definition given below, just those who have textbooks, please look into your textbook and turn to page 122. Interrogative sentences which ends with a question mark are used to ask questions or make inquiries. They are two types, yes, no questions and WH questions. Got an idea, girls, now? What is that? It's given as interrogative sentence, a sentence that ends with a question mark. Okay, is used to ask questions and make enquiries, is called an interrogative sentence. I wrote all the things for those who are without textbooks even till now. A sentence that ends with a question mark is used to ask questions and make inquiries called an interrogative sentence. Now, I hope you know this. You know very well. Ask a question, for example, who are you? Who are you? Ending with a question mark. Who are you? Check this one. This is an interrogative sentence. This is an interrogative sentence. Okay? And this is ending with a question mark. This is called interrogative sentence. And check this one. Used to make inquiries. For example, who stays here? This is an inquiry. Okay? Another one. For example, who teaches you maths? Who teaches you maths? This is another one. Who teaches you maths? Another kind of inquiry. For example, where do you live? Now, for example, what is your father? Now, don't misunderstand the what is your father. That means here this question is trying to extract the information about your father's profession. So what is your father? That means what does your father do, which means the same question can be asked as what does your father do? Okay, all these kinds of things which ends with a question mark, makes inquiries, and also paves way for asking questions. And also paves way for asking questions is called an interrogative sentence. Several questions are there. For example, where were you yesterday? Where were you yesterday? Inquiring. Asking questions, inquiring. For example, why were you absent for the exam? Why were you absent for the exam? Why were you absent for the exam? All these questions ending with a question mark, inquiries. Right, check this one. For example, how many members are there in your family? How many members are there in your family? Another kind of inquiry. A general thing, you know this, I think. What do you do? What do you do? All these are different kinds of inquiries. Okay, check these things, girls. Okay. Let's see these things, okay, girls. Now here an example is given. Girls. I shall try to give you those examples. Something very simple, but and WH questions as well, right? I gave you. And here, for example, here the example available in the Hasina speaks Marathi. This is a statement. Hasina speaks Marathi. This is a statement. But the same statement can be turned into an interrogative sentence. Check this one. By adding this DOES, does, then bring this Hasina, then speaks. Does Hasina speak Marathi? Check this one. With the inclusion of DOES, does. DOES, does Hasina speak Marathi? Okay. Check this one. There is there is a question mark at the end of the sentence, and with the inclusion of DOES in the beginning. So this is, does Hasina speak Marathi? Inquiry. Before that it was a statement. For example, are you regular to the classes? Are you regular to the classes? So generally many people get a doubt here. Why should we use ARER? Why should we use ARER here before this YOU? Why? Because this YOU, you is the second person singular and plural, both. Okay, since there is this chance of ambiguity, ARER is used in present tense. Because YOUU can be used to address a single person or more than one person. That's why ARE is always right in present tense. Okay, WERE, were, is right in past tense before this YOU. Before this YOU, okay. So, a kind of interrogative sentences. Okay. Let's go to another one. Now let me rub these things. Now let's go for imperative sentence. Imperative sentence. Now what is an imperative sentence? Let's go for the exam. I mean to say the definition given in the textbook. Check this one. Imperative sentences are used to give orders or instructions, to make a request and to give advice. I shall repeat the same definition here. Imperative sentences are used for, okay, and here I wrote imperative sentence. So, an imperative sentence is used to, okay, let us make it imperative sentences, then imperative sentences, okay, then after that ARER used to give what, girls? Orders or instructions? Orders or instructions, comma, to make a request, to make a request, and another thing, and to give advice, and to give advice. Now check this, very clear. Imperative sentences are used to give orders or instructions. For example, bring your homework, write the notes. As a teacher, I can give you instructions, orders. Write the notes now itself. Bring the homework tomorrow. Okay? Check this one. To make a request and to give an advice, and to give advice. Now what is that advice? Now for example, be regular to the classes, work hard for prosperity. If you work hard, you can prosper. For example, I'm giving you these kind of ideas, and these things can be treated as advice. Advice. Okay? And another one, girls, check this one. Open the door. Sorry. Open the door. Another one. Do not put away the crockery. These examples are given in the textbook, girls. Open the door. It can be an instruction, it can be a request as well. Open the door. For example, with a change in the tone. Open the door. This is an order. Keep the door open. It's an instruction. Open the door comma, please. Okay girls, the time is up it seems. Let's meet in the next class. Thank you.